Well, this may not be our 300th episode, but it was the 300th show and a landmark for the folks at Riot City Wrestling. We're going to be talking in depth about what went down, the matches, the highlights, and everything from RCW's 300. We're the Video Bros, and we'll be back in just a moment. And boom, just like that, it's Thursday night, and you know what that means? It's party time with us. We're the Video Bros. I'm Bobby Munson, and the man sitting beside me, he's the man with the angelic voice. He is Papa Spokes. Papa Spokes, happy Thursday. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing great, Munson. Happy Thursday to you, and what another awesome intro. And we got a good Ring Respect Radio edition for all you fans here tonight, don't we, Bob?
We sure do. Yes, RCW's 300th show ever. That is monumental in anybody's history in professional wrestling. So if you love indie wrestling, we got lots of chatter going on here tonight on Ring Respect Radio for you. Saying hello, first of all, to this man right here. He's always coming in, dropping in, letting us know what national day it is, Pop Spokes. He's always making me hungry. Zach coming in, not only dropping that it's National Filet Mignon Day, but also National Creamsicle Day. Damn, I love you, Zach. I love you coming in, letting us know. It gives me excuses to eat all these wonderful foods that you keep talking about. Because you got to celebrate. If it's a national day, Pop Spokes, you got to partake, I imagine.
Well, absolutely. If it's a steak and a creamsicle day, I mean, what a combination. First the steak, then the creamsicle for dessert. What could be better?
Exactly. Well, the only thing that we had is a party that has this guy up here. It's BDJ joining us. How are you doing, BDJ? Thanks for joining Ring Respect Radio. We got, before we get to the main event here, talking about RCW, Papa folks, we want to talk about our own promotion, Prairie Pro Wrestling. And Prairie Pro Wrestling is going to be live again in Saskatoon, Saturday, September 6th. We call it Los Slamtos, and we know that the title is going to be on the line. Michael Allen, Richard Clark defending against Riley Cruz. Tickets are going fast. You want to make sure you reach out to reserve your seat. Seats are very limited at this point. General admission is going to be going on sale soon, and I can guarantee you, Papa Smokes, with this being the final stop on the way to the Ring of Horrors, people are not going to want to miss what goes down at Los Slamtos.
Very much so, Munson. And just as you mentioned, on the road to Ring of Horrors, this show in September will be a very, very important show for all those wrestlers in PPW to secure their spots, to try and get the big matches for Ring of Horrors, PPW's flagship show, the big show of the year. There's going to be all kinds of action going on at that show and all kinds of titles defended there too. So this is the last chance for PPW talent to get over and to secure their spots in the ratings towards the championships. So we're going to see big things happen on that date in September.
You bet. It's going to be fantastic. Make sure you're there with us. Also, big things in the indie world as well, too, Pop Spokes. I'd be amiss if I didn't mention it. I know Ed and I are going to be covering it on the all-new revised Taking Over on Tuesday night, as we are going to be taking on Narcissistic Behavior. That is airing right now on YouTube as we speak from Richard Holliday. Narcissistic Behavior looks fantastic, Pop Spokes. I know you and I think that we should still watch it. I think we should still talk a little bit about it here on the show, even just as a segment to go over your thoughts on it as well. But I'll be doing an in-depth talk with Ed on Tuesday at Taking Over. But yeah, congratulations to Richard Holliday on the success of the big show, Narcissistic Behavior. Very curious to see how that panned out.
Yeah, how tremendously cool. And I've been following the lead up to this show on X. Holliday has been tweeting all the matches that he's signed, everything that he's set up for this show, Narcissistic Behavior. And also, don't forget, we've all been watching Richard Holliday and his training segments too for his signature move. You know what it is, Munson?
Yeah.
A groin shot right between the legs. And you
Yeah.
know that Holliday's going to have that move all polished up and all ready to go for his own show.
You bet. And you also can't go wrong with his outfit that's clearly inspired by Patrick Bateman from American Psycho, the infamous scene where he does a little talk about Huey Lewis in the news, but we'll save more of that chatter Tuesday night when you can join myself and Ed. But yes, Papa Smokes, let's get down to some Riot City Wrestling because there's a lot to unpack with this show. Before I do, chat, just a heads up, you can now check out in the chat on all channels right now a link to the YouTube page to check out Riot City Wrestling's 300 show. While you're there, make sure to smash the subscribe button for them because that helps support indie wrestling. Again, thumbs up, all those things over there. Leave them a comment. That helps their algorithm. It's going to help them grow. And we want to support indie wrestling here on the channel and here on Ring Respect Radio because that's what we're all about. So let's get down to business, Papa Smokes. The opening match from this show was the Royal Park. Actually, you know what? Sorry. Let's rewind on that. I'm going to take a pause, folks. Before we go to it, I'm going to say the Mangler's in the house saying happy Thursday, gentlemen. And goers. So yes, Pop Smokes now being in the ear to ear. But yes, I forgot.
Hell yeah.
I do apologize. I throw it back to you, my friend. I know you want to give a lay of the land where this all took place before we get into the matches.
You'll get the hang of this format one of these days, Munson, but you know me well enough to know that I want to just lay a little bit of the groundwork before we get into the matches here. Riot City Wrestling, big company in Australia. This show took place July 11th, 2025 in Adelaide, which is in South Australia. And didn't you love this venue, Munson? Big Shed Brewing. Wow, what a cool venue, and the show looked really awesome on camera in this venue. Its capacity is 500 plus, and I think that RCW, by the sounds of it, packed a few more in there than that, and it looked great on camera. The fans were all standing, all drinking beer. I like the way they had the fans lit a little bit as well. Mm-hmm. We've talked about this on episodes in the past. There's a charm in larger buildings to having just the ring lit and the fans in darkness. I like that look too. For this particular show, they had the fans lit and you could see lots of the fans. I also like this approach to it. And for this show, it worked perfectly. You could see the excited and smiling faces of the crowd and the jeering and heckling faces of the crowd. Looked really good, and production value in general for Riot City Wrestling is top notch.
Yeah, you bet. And who would have thought that beer and pro wrestling would go together so well? But there it is, right before you. I believe that they did say that they had a capacity crowd of like 600 for this show or something like that. So congratulations on that. And again, 300 shows. Like, you know, we haven't even cracked our first 100 with Prairie Pro Wrestling. These guys have done 300. That's so impressive. They've gone beyond it now since we've gone live here already. They have had, I think, at least 2 more shows since then, if not more. But congratulations to Riot City Wrestling on making it that far and, you know, always up in their game, too. That's one thing I got to say is that in watching this, production values to everything have really increased over the years for Riot City Wrestling. They continue to give back to people and put these out for free. And I can't say enough good things about that side of it. And again, any indie wrestling company that puts their stuff out there free for people to watch, soak that in, enjoy it, because I mean, it's a lot of work and a lot of stuff that goes into that for them to be able to put it out there for everybody. So I appreciate it. Every time we watch one of these, my hat's off to everybody in production, in the back, in the ring, every single one of you. Big congratulations on getting this amazing show done.
Yeah, I second that 1,000% because the camera work is good, the commentary is good, and then those video packages were just very professionally made.
Oh yeah.
And for any fan that wants to come and try out Riot City Wrestling can watch a show like this and still become immersed in the angles they have going on because the video packages set them up nicely just as we see with the big money companies on TV, this is what Riot City Wrestling is doing on a slightly smaller level, but with great expertise and just slick looking video packages that catch everybody up onto what's going on, the angles for the matches and everything. Beautifully done.
You bet. Look who's joining us up in the house here, Pop Smokes.
Yeah.
Fireman Basser in the house. How you doing, Bass? Appreciate you being here, brother. Yeah, so now that we've rewound and done that part, Pop Smokes, and now that we're finally on track here and I am not jumping the gun, now let's talk about the Royal Park Rumble Champion.
All right.
The Big Shed Rumble, as it's being called, there as a belt at the end of this thing. You're going to have your name engraved and hanging in this brewery. So whoever the champion is gets to be, you know, put in this brewery. This is going to be a huge thing. And we've got, I want to say, a who's who mixed with a wow kind of factor throughout this entire thing. It was interesting. It was exciting. I mean, it's a battle royal, so they're always going to be fun. We got, you know, the one thing I got to say, I really like, instead of doing the 10 count backwards every time somebody's going to come out, that they do the almost that beat from We Will Rock You by Queen.
Yeah.
Every single was coming out. That is such a nice touch that separates them from others.
Yeah, it just makes it sound a little bit different. And you know, the Royal Rumble blueprint, so to speak, that was dreamt up by Pat Patterson way back in the day, has been imitated by a ton of companies over the years, and it is a winning formula for sure. More interesting than a battle royal, I think, where all the competitors get in the ring and start at the very beginning. I like staggering the entrances a little bit, having new competitors come in every 2 to 3 minutes kind of thing. And this was nice. I like the way the beat just kind of counted them in, so to speak, and got the fans ready for the next entrance.
Yeah, and I mean, we got to see some new faces. We got to see some people we're a little bit more accustomed to seeing, and in RCW, considering how big this event was, not going to be room to have more singles and tag matches throughout this thing without having it just kind of go for hours and hours and hours. However, being able to put on a battle royal is perfect to get a lot of those people out, a lot of the people that have gotten them to this point for their 300 show. So they get everybody to get out there and have fun, get a display. I really didn't know which way this was going to go, to be honest, Papa Smokes. This was one that kind of left me guessing throughout it. At one point I'm like, no, it's going to be this person. No, it's going to be this person. Oh, it has to be this person. Then every single time over the rope. And I didn't even see it coming at the end. I really did not see Richard Gouda sneaking back into that ring and dumping his opponent for the win and taking this thing. I am shaking my head going, is this the only surprise that's going to happen tonight, or is this going to be a night of jaw-dropping wows? And we'll talk about that very soon, but this one in particular, wow.
Well, first off, Munson, I wanted to ask your opinion about this. How do you feel about the Riot City Rumble being the first and opening match on this card? Do you think it works?
It's high energy and everything like that. The tricky part with a Rumble, I think that if you're not going to put it on last because it's not your big Rumble, it's not, for a title shot, like it's a title, but it's not for the main championship kind of thing. If that's not going to be your main event matchup, I think having it on first probably was the better way to go for this night. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I kind of agree with your thinking there too. It sounds funny on paper kind of, but when you watch the actual show, it works, I think, because with the main event, which we'll get to in a little bit here for the RCW Championship, that's got to go on last, right? The hardcore match between the two enemies for the championship. That's going on last for sure. You could put the Rumble somewhere else in the card, but I kind of ended up thinking that this worked quite well right off the bat. Got the fans into it, had some action. It was a 15-person Rumble, so it didn't take a huge chunk of time out of this card. So, yeah, I kind of agree with the booking decision, having it on first. Yeah. Now, there were a couple of interesting moments in this, too. We had some women that were very good in this match. I could have swore that Mickey Fortune was going to win this match at some
Mhm.
point. Also, the 15th entrant was Violet Blitz, and she just was like a house on fire in there. She was throwing people over the top rope all over the place. It very much looked like she was going to win it. There was a couple other things that were interesting. Brody Hunter came in with a little touch from our home here in Canada, came in with a hockey stick and started wailing on people. That was pretty cool.
Looked like Casey Jones out of the Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, a little bit actually. And then, Bunsen, were you getting New Zealand vibes when Party Guy Ty came out? Because
Yeah.
not to be confused with Cool Guy Sky, very similar outfit, very similar name, and both party guy kind of baby face characters. I was laughing about that, thinking about Cool Guy Sky. So another popular character this time on the other side of the strait in Australia.
Yeah, I thought the exact same thing there too. Papa Smokes was right away. I was like, this kind of feels like Cool Guy Sky. Only I think because Cool Guy Sky has progressed a little bit further along and been a champion and stuff. Now that the party side, I mean, he's still kind of got that look and that swagger when he comes to the ring, but there was a lot more of the dancing swagger from Party Guy up in this battle royal tonight.
Yeah, very much so, and lots of tassels too.
Very much lots of tassels. But what did you feel about Gouda winning? Like, is this a wow move that's worth it, kind of thing?
Yeah, I suppose so. See, I'm caught in the situation here, kind of like when I first started watching our friend James Shaw as a heel. He's effective at it. He's slimy. I don't like him. Like my initial knee-jerk reaction is I hate this guy. Even his
Yeah.
look is so slimy with that hair shaved in the sides and then that nasty, greasy ponytail and the mustache and those glasses. He's just such a slimy looking heel, and you want to just cheer against him all the time. And then during this battle royal, he's over at the bar. They've got a camera on him. He's having a beer at the bar, and just healing it up so bad. And you're just always hoping that this guy will get eliminated and tossed out so that we don't have to watch him anymore. He can go back to the dressing room. But alas, it was not to be.
Yeah. No, he pulled off the win, and he will be forever known in that brewery as the man who won this Rumble. From there, Papa Smokes, we kind of had I'd say an impromptu match. I guess we could call it an impromptu match because it wasn't one of the ones that had an official card. It kind of got made on the spot by the, I guess, GM, so to speak. But Dean Brady taking on Hugh Beauty. Not a lot to go on here. I mean, I think it was pretty clear who was going to smash this one out of the park with Dean Brady, with the years experience and everything. But, you know, it was an interesting, fun spot to put where it was to kind of prepare, because there's so much gimmick and storyline matches that this kind of felt like something they needed to kind of ease the tension a little bit before moving into the next kind of, you know, big gimmick matches. And especially because what came on next with the way it ends, I think is another reason you needed something in between it to kind of break that up too.
Yeah. This was the spot on the card to put this match, or a small segment first, with the return of Ricardo, which seemed to be popular amongst the fans. Ricardo had been away for a while, and but not to get his nice moment with the fans. Dean Brady was going to come in and attack him, and then the save being made by Hugh Beauty. By the way, Munson, what's up with some of these names of these guys here too? Hugh Beauty doesn't exactly roll off the tongue. I'm not going to criticize the guy; he did just fine and everything.
Yeah.
But some of these names, like Will Power and Wanna Fight and Hugh Beauty, I don't know what these guys are up to down here. But at any rate, the match went off just fine. Hugh Beauty has a little thing where he's the cricket guy, right? Like, and he was calling forth thoughts of cricket with his character and everything. So interesting. Just one of those little cultural differences between Canada and Australia. They love that cricket down there.
They sure do. So yeah, Dean Brady definitely took a pretty quick win in this one, so to speak. But yeah, I mean, either way, I mean, it was needed because again, up next, what we're going to talk about, there's a fair bit to talk about here. The RCW Tag Team Championships are on the line. The Armstrong brothers back together, tagging together, tag team champions. These guys have got years of experience behind them, and they come up against the team known as, hold on, let me find my notes, CBTM. This is Vincent DiMaria and Snacks Pop Smokes. We saw them kind of almost like we saw them in that like mini tournament, that pool that we saw earlier and everything, going against each other. But then they did team up recently together in another card that we watched. And we said that there could be something there with them. And they come out with the matching gear and the music and everything. I'm like, all right, gentlemen. I didn't see what they did previously because we weren't fully caught up or anything. But as they came out, I'm like, these guys look like a tag team. They look like a team that is going to cause some trouble, and they're going to be devious in every sense of the word. I just have a feeling. And so it would be, Pop Smokes. I don't know if you want to take it from here to talk about the lead up to what ends up happening in this matchup, but this was a very, very interesting finish.
Yeah, they kind of swerved the fans a little bit in this match too. It started out as a nice standard tag team match, and the Armstrongs come out with a bunch of charisma and everything. They made their entrance from the balcony on the top to enter Sandman, and were chugging beers like the Sandman, the old ECW wrestler, up top there. And that was very over with the crowd. You could see that the crowd just loved this completely. CBTM just looking like you said, with the matching gear, and they had some good tandem tag team moves and everything. Not too bad, but and they swerved us in this match, right? I didn't know what was going on as well. The guys were running the ropes, and they ran into each other for a standard shoulder block. You see it quite a few times in a lot of matches. And the guy from CBTM that delivered the shoulder block, he went down hard in the corner, and was clearly, this match had kind of gone off the rails here, and it appeared that Vinny from CBTM was injured. First, he was holding his face, and I actually backed up that shoulder block to look to see what the problem was. It didn't appear to be too bad, but Vinny was holding his face, and obviously he caught a stinger of some kind. Then he started kind of holding his knee, and I thought, uh-oh, like we got a real injury here. The referee was over up close, as referees do in this situation, to make sure the competitor is all right. And oh, Jesus, it looks like Vinny can't continue, and it is his knee, and now his partner's lifting him up. Even the Armstrongs came over and were sympathetic to this, right? Like, they're all brothers in the ring as wrestlers to a certain extent. And the Armstrongs were even going to help get Vinny out of the ring. And then the swerve, right? It was a fake injury. He wasn't hurt at all. His partner got rid of the other guy, and then they rolled up Buddy from the Armstrongs, and 1, 2, 3. That was the finish. We got new RCW Tag Team Champions, and it's CBTM could be the move. Whatever that means, but whatever it means, they are the champs now, and it swerved the crowd big time, myself included.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I did just like you, Papa Smokes. I had to rewind it because I'm like, there wasn't much in that, was there? And I kept looking. I'm like, freak things happen, right? Like I've seen injuries happen before where it's like at a glance, it doesn't look like much, but the body is a strange thing, and you never know what could all of a sudden happen out of nowhere. And kudos to Vinny on selling this whole situation. Like, he had you sympathetic to the point where I was like, damn, man, that's going to be serious. Like, this dude's going to be out for a while, and that sucks, especially like for an indie wrestler to have to be down and out like that with injury. And like, man, that really, especially when he's just got this team, they got gear, they're looking good, they got this tag match at this big event. That really stinks. And then when that swerve happened, I'm like, oh, you bastards, you greasy bastards. Like, it was such a heel greasy move that I was just like, Oh, you're clever. You got me. You are clever on that one. Good move, RCW. Good move, CBTM. It ended up being a jaw-dropping moment in a very, very good way.
And the ref was equally to be credited for that too, because he played his part perfectly as well. He had that kind of nervousness in his aspect, that almost spasmodic kind of need to get down there and, oh shit, something's wrong here. Like, I got to check on this guy. This could be serious. The ref sold it completely too. So that spot very much playing with the feelings and emotions of the fans really got us good, had us all worried, and had us all in kind of a darker, negative thought process, because damn, you hate to see someone get injured, especially a young wrestler. And it's not ballet. Stuff happens in the ring all the time, and yeah, they toyed with our emotions on this one, and it was all a trick, Munson. It was a trap, and the Armstrongs fell for it, and they lost their belts over it. So thumbs up to could be the move. They really pulled one off there, but the question is, are they going to be able to defend those titles effectively from this point forward?
Well, that's just it. Yeah, they're gonna have to answer to their actions from the Armstrongs and from every other team that's going to be lining up for an opportunity to take crack at the Bob Smoke. So kudos for them for pulling it off, but you guys are going to have to keep that cleverness up if you want to hold on to the gold. That is the thing. Target is now on their back. All right, now, Pop Smokes, the next match. This one had a lot of emotion behind it because Mr. Cliff, we've talked about him a lot here before. He looks like a nice young man. He looks like a kind of guy go out to shake your hand, be a nice dude, have a good conversation with him. To me, he really kind of looks like a sober version of our good friend Bud Heavy over there. Less beer drinking, a little bit more clean cut kind of thing. But they've got a look. They've got a look. And so as this thing's been going along more and more, I'm like, Dan, I'm starting to like this Mr. Cliff guy a little bit kind of thing. I'm starting to feel bad for him. I mean, 0-49. And now comes the biggest challenge of all. He not only has to win this matchup, he has to do it by beating Grim, of all people. Like, this is not the kind of match you want to be putting your career on the line for. If Mr. Cliff doesn't win, he doesn't wrestle again in RCW. And Grim's known for kicking ass and taking names, and that's exactly what he wanted to do. He beat the living piss out of Mr. Cliff. Mr. Cliff bumped so many times and so damn hard throughout this whole thing. But man, did he sell the beatdown. He sold the desire to want to fight back when needed to, from fighting underneath when he get these bursts of energy and really give it his all. He hot started this thing and took it to Grim off the hop and stuff too. Mr. Cliff not only has grown as a wrestler in this period of time, but he's completely turned me into a fan. I enjoyed watching this matchup, and right from the get-go, I kind of like, you put the career on the line. He's kind of new to the business. I mean, this is his 50th ever match. I can't foresee them going, hey, we're going to have him lose, unless there was a big reason, like he was going somewhere else completely. I couldn't see any reason why he wouldn't win this matchup. But there was times, man, when he was beaten down so hard, I'm like, no, there's no way. It's over. Grim has got this. And just with a fraction of a second left, there goes Mr. Cliff kicking out again, and the look on his face like, holy shit, I can do this. I can believe in myself. I can get stuff done. This was good. This ended up probably being my favorite matchup of the entire night in the end. I liked it a lot. And yeah, Mr. Cliff, the big win, ends up being 1-49 now finally. And not only did he make a fan out of me, but everybody in that brewery was behind Mr. Cliff the entire time.
Oh, very much so too. And I got to agree with you. This was kind of my sleeper hit of this card as well, because this match toyed with the emotions of the fans and the viewers also, right? Because with the whole stipulation that Mr. Cliff was going to have to retire or leave RCW if he didn't win this match, it's an underdog story, right? And the fans will like to get behind an underdog, myself included. You put him in there against a monster like Grimm, who's just had his way with this entire Riot City roster many times. He's a tough man. He's a sadistic man. And to put Grimm in there for this must-win match, his 50th match, really, really had the fans on the edge of their seat. And then, as you said, the selling in this was just unbelievable. Mr. Cliff went through hell, and that's the perfect story for a babyface like Mr. Cliff, is to fight from underneath, fight, 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 and never give up. And he didn't. And the fans were so on his side throughout this whole match. But as it went on, and as Mr. Cliff ate some of those nasty finishing maneuvers from Grimm, I mean, there were all kinds of pile drivers and pedigrees and choke slams and all this stuff that you're just thinking, man, Mr. Cliff's never going to kick out from this. It's done. You talk about false finishes when a match is close. These were false finishes, and the match wasn't even close at all at this point. And again, it inspired the fans to cheer louder and get behind this underdog. And there wasn't one person in that building that didn't want Mr. Cliff to pull this off, to get his first win, and to be able to stay in the company and maybe build off of that too. Who knows? But Mr. Cliff just barely making it through this match, but what a huge win. Not against just anybody, but the feared Grimm.
Yeah, very much so. Love this. Glad you did too, Papa Spokes, because this one I really could get behind. Loved every bit of it. So yeah, and again, Mr. Cliff, fantastic. Congratulations. What a show. I think we only got one more to talk about here, Papa Spokes. We got the main one to talk about. I think we call that the main event of the evening.
There's one before that, though, isn't there, Bob? The four-way?
Yes, you're right. I apologize. I have that on my notes, and I completely missed it. So I will I'll get back to that intro in a little bit. Man, I'm jumping the gun a little too often here tonight. Let's talk about that fatal four-way matchup that I completely botched talking about there. For the Emerald Crown, the fatal four-way match, the Dark King, Zach Sabbath, is going to be defending the Emerald Crown against Kato, Bob, which apparently stands for bitter old bastard. And now that my wife's heard that, she goes, yep, that's fitting. And then Super Sigma. We have seen Super Sigma a lot before. This guy was pushed to the moon. But yes, it was Zach Sabbath who got the better of him to win the Emerald Crown in the very first place, kind of putting that first loss on Super Sigma. But now in a fatal four-way, we're going to see just what could be done. And again, usually these matches, I know you and I don't always love four-way matches, triple threat, stuff like that. I can see, again, it's your 300 show. This is why it's being done. You want to put people out there. You want to get that high action going and keep that momentum going. So I 100% respect the decision to put this on. And these four guys can put on a good show. They really can. Zach Sabbath has got the look. He is good inside the ring. We know Super Sigma. He's got that smiley attitude to him, but you know that he's devious. You know that guy one of these days he's gonna absolutely destroy somebody, as someone's gonna be left bleeding inside that ring, and he'll just have that smile as he's standing over top of them. That's the kind of sadistic level he is. Kato's excellent inside that ring as well too, and of course Bob. Gotta love the name. Bitter old bastard Bob in this thing as well, too. What did you think of this matchup, Pop Smokes?
Well, for one thing, a bitter old bastard. I've been called that a couple times, Munson. We won't go there at this point. But this four-way for the Emerald Crown was interesting. I can see why they did this. Like you said, the 300th show. They're giving the fans a little bit of a treat. They booked some extra wrestlers to be in the Rumble. So this is a party for the fans, especially held in that lovely venue, that brewery. So let's do it up. There's a four-way match for this. Sigma, we've seen him before. Big dude, big, strong dude. Kind of a superhero gimmick going on. Kaitoa, he looks like a younger guy. He's an aerial specialist kind of thing. Bitter old bastard. He's got a kind of a smash mouth wrestling style, and then Zach Sabbath. He's one of the rising stars in this company, soon probably to be at the top of the card, but at this point, holding the Emerald Crown, which is kind of like the title for the middle of the card. So bright things ahead for Zach Sabbath. But wow, all kinds of big spots in this match. Fatal four-ways, a little too busy for me sometimes. Not a fan of wrestlers selling for 5 to 7 minutes, lying outside the ring and all that. But really, this went along at a pretty good pace, including now the guys are fighting outside the ring because, of course, fatal four-way, no rules, right? It's a no disqualification type thing, so they don't have to obey any of the typical wrestling rules. Now they're out in the crowd, and oh, how about that big spot, Munson? Zach Sabbath gets up on that balcony where we had seen the Armstrongs make their entrance from. It's pretty damn high, man. That's got to be
really
20, 25 feet up. It's quite high.
Yeah.
And Zach Sabbath does a swanton bomb off the top onto the three other guys. Work like a charm, but when they do those spots like that, especially outside the ring, ooh, that gets me nervous, man. That's so dangerous.
It really is. And here's the thing, too, is he didn't wait until the guys weren't standing around like you see in some promotions where the guys are standing there waiting, arms out, like, we're got you, buddy. We're going to catch it. No, Zach Sabbath got up there and he went. And he just trusted that the boys would be in place exactly at the right time and would catch him. That's a huge trust as a wrestler to get in there and do that. So there wasn't a lot of waiting around. He just went with it. And those boys, there's some big boys there. I mean, they can handle it. But it is a large drop, a very large drop. You could clearly see it. That would make the best of them nervous getting up there and doing it. But it created that moment. I mean, again, got to put the stamp on it. This is the 300 show. This is where you leave spots is for monumental shows like this. Spots, if you do them show after show after show, they don't mean anything. But when you get somebody like Zach Sabbath in a different arena, like this brewery that you don't normally go to, and there's an opportunity on this huge show that you're promoting as a big monument to your company, that's when you pull it. And that's why I think it was very effective, because not only were we not waiting around for guys to catch them, we also got it at a big show when it meant something. Oh, I can't hear you, Pop Smokes.
Whoops. Yeah. Okay.
We're good.
I agree with you 100%. And I always like thinking of the boys or the wrestlers arriving at the venue during the day, doing the setup and all that. And then some of those guys just looking up at that balcony, just thinking, yeah, man, like, wonder if we should do something involving that. You know, I always like, they've probably wrestled in this venue before and thought of that, but I still like picturing them just kind of going over their shit before the match and kind of looking up and thinking, I don't know. What do you think, boys? Should I?
Yeah. Good thing it wasn't Super Sigma that tried to do it, because I don't know if the guys would have been able to catch that much weight coming down at the same time. But yeah, it was a huge high spot that's going to be talked about forever. Again, anybody who wants to really enjoys a memorable high spot should go check this out. Again, the link to this show is in the chat, so you can go check it out at any time. But yeah, in the end, Papa Smokes, I kept thinking, if Zach Sabbath isn't retaining, the only other one I saw taking it in this particular matchup, in my opinion, was Super Sigma.
Yeah, very much so. Just one more thing about that spot off of the balcony. What about that camera shot too? It looked like the cameraman was almost on his knees in front of the guys that caught Zach Sabbath. Like, it's a wild shot. Like, they must have planned that one out beforehand, because it looked extremely cool the way they filmed that.
Yeah, and you really do need to make that planning ahead of time if there's going to be a cool spot like that. STG coming in saying a high spot of El Assassino. We have seen those before. Trust me, they have happened. In fact, they've also had good camera angles on some of those as well. So, but yeah, it was
El Assassino dove off the top rope, across the crowd barrier and into the crowd. I know you remember that, Munson, because you got a similar shot of that one standing underneath, and in the camera shot, Assassino just soars over top like a plane going over your head in the sky.
As STG couldn't praise to the legend, as he calls him anyway. But back on track with Riot City. Yeah, Super Sigma ends up picking up the victory here in this particular matchup, becoming the new Emerald Crown champion. No surprises here. In a sense, Zach Sabbath had his moment winning it in the first place, getting that first victory over Super Sigma, showing that he can get the job done against the big man. I think that this was Super Sigma's time. If you're going to make something of Super Sigma, this, hard to beat big man force in this company, I think that the time was right on this particular show to have him victorious and become the champion in this match.
Yeah, and he's been getting a good push from the company. You can see that they've got ideas for him and some plans for him. I find his character, so to speak, kind of puzzling a little bit, because he's a heel, but he's kind of a superhero, and he's kind of a clean-cut, handsome, kind of smiley guy. I'm not really sure what's going on with that whole thing, but he is a force to be reckoned with in the ring. He's a huge, huge man, very tall, very strong, and then, man, that tombstone pile driver that he planted at the end there was just crushing. Like, that was like old Undertaker days, the old purple and black Undertaker, when he used to just look like he was drilling the guy's head right through the mat. That was very, very impressive. And once you saw that move, you knew that the 3 count was happening, no question.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, and when you say about Super Sigma's persona or his gimmick, I almost see it like a Homelander from The Boys kind of thing, but I want to see it go further. I think that's the thing. The reason that Homelander is effective in making you hate him is because he is just so disgusting kind of thing. And I want Super Sigma to get to that point. I want Super Sigma to take one of the absolute crowd favorite. Like, he needs to take a Mr. Cliff and he needs to bust Mr. Cliff open and leave him bleed in the ring while laughing and just doing the whole smear the blood up over his face. Like, that would be more leaning into the Homelander type gimmick kind of thing. And I think that could work in this situation. He's a big man. He's got that clean cut. He's got that smile, but he's a heel. He's a bad guy and he's devious. And I want to see him get more devious. I want him to be so disgusting and deplorable that people want to throw shit at him when he comes down to the ring.
Yeah, myself also. I feel like he should heal it up a bit more. I get what he's doing too, is not being so obvious and so blatant about it. He's kind of hiding inside his look a little bit. He's making the fans kind of have to figure out how bad he really is. But now I'm at the point where I want to see him do some bad stuff against some popular baby faces. This will get him to the next level, I think. And by the look of the way that RCW is booking him, I would not be surprised at all if he's in the main event or main title picture within the next year or so. Definitely,
100%. All right, now because I jumped the gun again on this show, I can finally go back to what I thought was the time, but now it's the time for the main event of the evening. Yes, the RCW Grand Championship is on the line as the champion, Chris Basso, defending in a hardcore match against Matt Hayter. The video package brought us up to speed, the history of these two, everything going on leading up to this whole thing, how much it means for Matt Hayter to finally get this done, to finally take the belt off Chris Basso. It's a hardcore match. He's going to have everything against him because you've got Basso and his boys, everybody in the old guard here that are going to come out and they're going to get involved here. Like, Matt Hayter's a one-man band trying to make sure that he can survive this fight. Everything stacked against him, other than the fact that this is the 300th show, and in the back of every professional wrestling fan's mind, I think we kind of have that know just a little bit that the hero is going to have their day. This is going to be their day. They're going to overcome this fight by any means necessary and get to the end and become the champion. Again, like we talked about the sleeper hit for us with Mr. Cliff and Grimm, but this is what this show was built around. This is the big title match. They made it feel big. It had a long time to go out there. These two guys really soaked it in. They brought hell to one another. They beat the living daylights out of one another. This was a fight, and it made sense. It works on this particular card. It works in amongst this large group of fans standing around the ring. This was the other top match on this card, in my opinion. If you take the unexpectedness of Grimm and Mr. Cliff away, this was your top matchup, and with good reason.
Very much so. And that's one thing I like about Riot City Wrestling is that the quality of their matches and the quality of their talent is quite excellent throughout the whole card. But when you get to that main event, or maybe the semi-main and the main event, it really makes a big jump up in quality, because they make sure that those main events have their best and top guys wrestling in those matches, and they give them lots of time. You could see this match probably ran 20-25 minutes, but the whole segment, including the entrances and everything, made it around 38 minutes long or something. They took their time in this, and I appreciate that, because the main event is probably what sold you all your tickets, or most of your tickets. So give them the time that they need to build, to work, to get the fans invested, and to put on the big show of the evening. That's what Hayter and Basso did, former friends and tag team partners and all that stuff. It just had all the ingredients to have a very feud-like feeling to it, and you knew these two were going to go hard on each other.
Yeah, then they did, and in the end, Matt Hayter overcame the odds, became the new champion. You saw the fans erupt. This was huge. This was a big moment, not only for Matt Hayter, but for every single one on hand. And, you know, it was a feel-good moment on a big show, and that's exactly what this card needed to be topped off with, was that feel-good moment. And even though you could sense it, even though in the back of your mind you knew it was going to happen, it's just one of those things where you kind of look at it and go, it didn't matter, because I liked it that much. Paris joining us saying 300th show. I wish we could say it was our 300th show. It's actually Riot City Wrestling's 300th show. I don't even know how many shows we've done Ring Respect Radio at this point, to be honest.
Close to it, I bet.
Probably in there. I don't know. We haven't really tracked that down exactly. So it's been a long ass time. But thanks anyway. We appreciate it. And if it is our 300th show, cool. That worked out well.
Yeah, but who's counting, right? But yeah,
that's right. Because we're here with you every single Thursday night. That's what it comes down to. But the big thing is, it was huge for Matt Hayter. This is a huge thing. He's finally overcome the odds. He's now the new grand champion of Riot City Wrestling. But now again, we say he's got that target on his back moving forward. He's going to have everybody taking a look in and wanting to go for that championship. And there is no shortage of talent on the Riot City Wrestling roster that won't be knocking on that door of management saying, I want my time. I want my time. Matt Hayter is not going to be short on opponents moving forward.
And that's the thing about becoming champion, really in any area of sport, but we're talking about pro wrestling here. You can climb that mountain, and it might take you a long time to inch and climb up your way up that mountain through all the other contenders and all the other wrestlers in your company to finally get to that championship match. And then, of course, for Matt Hayter, it was another mountain to climb in this match, because Basso wasn't going to go down easily. But once you get to the top of that mountain, as Matt Hayter did, it doesn't end there. Now the journey really gets tough, because now you've got a target on your back from all other wrestlers in that company, in that country, in that area. They all want a shot at that gold. So you're a marked man from this point. So if Matt Hayter thinks he's going to get to relax after his big win, I don't think it's going to happen, because now everybody wants a piece of him.
You bet. But monumental indeed. Great way to finish the show. awesome across the board. Well done, Riot City Wrestling, from top to bottom. Everybody working there, everybody who participated, and this was a cool event. And thank you again for offering it free on YouTube. Like I said, in all the chats, you can go check out the link to their YouTube channel directly to this show in particular. Go give them a sub over on YouTube. But yeah, Papa Smokes, overall thoughts, anything you want to add as we finish up here on the 300th show for Riot City Wrestling?
Well, just in general, this is one of the indie companies that I really enjoy watching and reviewing for our show. I would like supporting it. I'd like to help Riot City Wrestling and all their workers to get over and to get more success. I have a blast watching these and reviewing these. So one of my favorite indie companies by a long shot, and I'm just glad that us guys out in the wastelands of Canada here have a connection with our buddies down under in Australia, in New Zealand. I love to cover these companies. It's quite a lot the same as the independent wrestling we watch and participate around here. It's just a little bit different, and that's just the fun of it too. Just the culture and everything is just a little bit different. So fun to watch, and they really put out a great product there, and I wish them all the best in the future. And I hope we continue covering Riot City Wrestling, because I've gotten to like some of the talent there and really am invested in some of the angles they have going on there. So let's keep it going, Munson. I really like this.
100%. Yeah, we will continue our coverage of Riot City Wrestling here on Ring Respect Radio and continue some indie coverage here across the board. A lot more indie coverage coming at you from OLE podcasts in the not too distant future. In fact, moving forward, like I said, lots of talk of indie talk here and lots of different things that can be found on the channel. We will get to that in a moment. I'll play out the calendar as we wrap up the show. But in the meantime and in between time, Papa Smokes, it's going to cost me a whole heck of a lot to put that beautiful ticker up there, but I love doing it. Let the people know where they can find you, what you got coming up.
All right. I can always be found on Thursday evenings live on Ring Respect Radio, which is hosted by OLE Podcasts and Video Bros Network. I can also be found on Elon Musk's free speech wonderland known as X. I am at smokes_papa. Also on Twitch at papa_smokes_. That's
where you can find Papa Smokes. As for myself, Bobby Munson, over in the X, it's Real Bobby Munson. Instagram and Threads, Video Bros SK. Twitch, it's Video Bro_Bobby Munson. And Blue Sky, Bobby Munson. All those other things that come after it. You'll find me there. Just look me up. And you will find me as we are starting to wrap up. 300th is in the books for Riot City Wrestling. It is. I would have to go back and start counting the Ring Respect episodes in order to know exactly where we're at. But we always appreciate the support of everybody who comes in here, chats with us live, watches after. There's been this absolute growth of Riot City, Riot City, yes, but of our show, Ring Respect Radio, as well, too. A lot of people who tune in and who have been tuning in on replay, from our friends in New Zealand to some of the PPW Academy that tune in on Fridays as well, too. Shout out to every single person, whether you're live with us or whether you're watching on repeat. We can't do this without you. You can also catch everything, like Papa Smoke says, on OLE Podcast, also on the Video Bros Network here for this particular show as well, too. We got the Mangler, as always. We appreciate the great content, guys. We appreciate the great support. Thank you very much, as always. But yes, check out OLE Podcast across all social media, as well as YouTube and Twitch. Make sure, if you haven't done so already, smash the subscribe button down below. Turn on the notification bell. Give this video a thumbs up and leave us a comment. I'm always searching those comments, always looking back to get back to you, the fans. But that is going to be it for us here tonight as we leave you with this week's calendar for what's left for OLE Podcast. Have a good night, and we'll see you next week, everybody.
Never gonna stop, never gonna change, never gonna do the things you say. I run my own way to get there. Fools are calling and I don't seem to care. In the air, no more crowd, just the opposite kind of too loud. So tell me this time is coming for the sake of all your lies. Why don't you try to be wise? Know that I need you anyway. Don't leave the way, don't leave the say that I
Apparently we're